Welcome to Bahasa Bali, Lesson 20. We will learn some more useful words and phrases. To the words that we have already learnt for seriously, that is saja, sekan, and yakti, we can also add the word benar. Benar. In Indonesian, benar. It's also Javanese. You hear it very commonly in Java as well. Benar. To the words that we learnt to go along with someone, ajak and bareng and sarang, we can add a very common word, and that is milu. Bahasa biasa, milu. And a very common question that people ask when they see you going somewhere, or that you're going somewhere and you want them to come along, you invite them to come along by saying, mai milu, or milu mai. In high language, bahasa alus, it would be ngiring sarang. Ngiring sarang is how you would invite someone to come along with you. A very common thing in Balinese, when you see someone going somewhere and you want to be invited along, you want to invite yourself along, you call out, milu sit, milu sit. Sik being short for besik, one. So in Indonesian, ikut satu. Milu sik. You hear that all the time in Bali. Another word that we have which means to follow is tutug. Tutug. And that usually refers to someone coming from behind, to follow from behind usually. So if I say to someone, mai milu na nyanantian nutukumo, I will come along later. Nyanantian nutukumo. The next word we will learn is the word to learn. I used in a previous lesson the word melajar. Tiang melajar bahasa Bali. The Balinese, more of a Balinese word is uruk, is the root word, uruk. To learn, muruk. Tiang muruk bahasa Bali. Tiang mara muruk bahasa Bali. I have just begun to learn Balinese. To teach, nguruk. Tiang nguruk. I teach. I teach Balinese. Tiang ngurukang bahasa Bali. Tiang ngurukang bahasa Bali. So that gives us a few different examples of grammar by having a root word and learning other forms around it. To go for a walk and enjoy yourself, pesiar in Indonesia, or melancong in Indonesian, melancong. In Bahasa Bali, biasa, melali. Melali. Bahasa halus, melancaran. Melancaran. And the m in both of those words are a prefix and pronounced m, although spelled ma. So a common question would be, Kijum melali. Kijum melali. In alus, jagi kijum melancaran. Jagi kijum melancaran. We add jagi in a phrase like that because it makes it sound a higher language, in a higher form. Now on to some expressions or terms that we use for people. Some of these are kasar, or very informal. Not so much kasar, but informal. The word for father we have learned is bapa. Well, another common word, but very informal, is nanang. Nang, quite often contracted to nang. Now, in some areas of Bali, this is considered to be very coarse. And in some areas, it's considered to be normal. It all depends on where you are. Nang, nanang for father. A higher form that you sometimes hear people call their father is guru. It's a very polite form, and there are certain subcastes in Bali that seem to call their fathers guru, guru. A very informal way of addressing a young girl is lueng. Lueng, very commonly contracted to weng. And it refers to a hole, which is typical of Balinese in their sense of humour. The word for a young boy, kochong, contracted commonly to chong. And kochong refers to his little pecker, which again is Balinese sense of humour. So chong and weng for a young boy and a young girl is how we address them sometimes. And on to the final thing, which is a very interesting thing in Bali. It is parallel to the Australian term, dickhead. Now, dickhead is something in Australia that we reserve for our closest friends. And it is exactly the same in Bali. The term is nas kleng. Nas kleng chi. Very commonly heard amongst good friends. Nas is short for tundas, which is kasar for head, nas, and that's a good example of where there's a D in the word. In Bali, it's almost not pronounced, very, very soft. So it's nas kleng. Kleng is cock. And again, that's kasar, kleng. And a very common thing you hear people call out to their good friends, hey, kleng chi, kleng chi. Very common. So hopefully these expressions will help. So, kalin malu,